Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let's start our today's session. Dear panelists, viewers, Assalamu alaikum. It is indeed my profound pleasure and privilege to moderate today's webinar on a subject which has been part of my career spanning over 3 decades. Pakistan's aviation landscape is a story of remarkable legacy, growing market, regional and global competition with associated challenges. COVID 19 has adversely affected aviation and air transport industry worldwide, and Pakistan, with its indigenous problems and challenges, has multi-pronged issues to address. We are indeed fortunate to have the leading top executives of aviation industries as our panelists present today. First to come to address us will be Air Marshal Arshad Malik, Chief Executive Officer, Pakistan International Airline. After assuming the charge as CEO PIA in April 2019, Air Marshal Arshad Malik embarked upon a mission to revive past glory of the national flag carrier. During the first year under his leadership, PIA performance reports have shown growth across all parameters. Revenue growth during the first 6 months of 2019 stood at an unprecedented 27% in passenger sales and 43% overall. The overall reliability had remained above 90%, with recovery of entire Boeing 777 and Airbus Alpha 320 fleet in operational status. These amazing numbers have only been possible through continuous hard work of operations, maintenance, and sales teams under dynamic leadership of Air Marshal Arshad. Sir, we are so proud to have you on board, and like always, and like all well-wisher of our national flag carrier, we wish you and your team best of luck in all your pursuits. Sir, over to you.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, Sir Ejaz Malik. Thank you very much for affording me this opportunity. Sir, to start with, I think we all are very sure and very clear about it that the business in which we are, इकल्ले बंदे का काम नहीं है और इकल्ले बंदे का वाकई काम इस तो नहीं है कि you cannot execute or achieve anything where you are stuck with against so many odds. So just to put it on kind of record that we have also, learned the culture of association and unions in our respective organization, and we have declared a Marshal Safdar as chairman of Pakistan Aviation Industry Pakistan, so that we can take his patronage whenever we have to do certain odd thing. So Air Marshal Safdar is kind of a badmash in airline industry. So all those who are not aware of him, we can always take guidance and direction from him. So anything which happens in the aviation industry from this moment onward, the credit goes to respective airlines, but the blame should go to Air Marshal Safdar. Sir, I think you have done a great favor to this nation that you brought us all together. I will just share certain ideas for the consumption of everybody. Although from the humble knowledge or from the professional competence, possibly I am the least educated and the least qualified man in the presence of Sir Safdar, Ali Dada Saab, Farhan Isa Saab, and of course you, sir, because of course lifelong we have learned from you also. Had you been an instructor in CCS, I would have not graduated. So thank you very much for not being instructor during my tenure. I was able to sail through while your other friends were there. Sir, coming back to aviation industry in Pakistan, sir, I think that unfortunately this is not an aviation sector which is being treated in Pakistan. This is just dung tapau which is happening in Pakistan, and main feature. And if we're not honest, if we're not speaking, even in our forums, we will not be able to learn anything. It is dung tapau basically by virtue of the regulatory action and the regulatory activities which are going on. I'm sorry, Sir Safdar has also been there in regulatory function. But let me be very honestly tell you that in 2 years, what I have learned is that aviation sector can only flourish, can only be sponsored if the regulatory is with you. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, sir, what I have seen in last 2 years, aviation division, so as to say, or the regulator has not been part and parcel. Wherever they have been part and parcel, wherever they've been supporting us, you have seen the results which were there in 2019. Now, these 2019 results were not only success story for PIA, but also for AirBlue and Serene also. Thanks to the new aviation policy. And let me tell you very honestly here that this new aviation policy of 2019, which were orchestrated, I don't want to take the credit, but PIA was the first one who collected and gathered all stakeholders in PIA head office. They all got together. We orchestrated this National Aviation Policy 2019, and thereafter we handed it over to Civil Aviation for their further pursuance, deliberations. And thanks to, at that time, Civil Aviation, they again collected all the people, and we were able to orchestrate and come up with the National Aviation Policy. But where does this aviation policy stand today? It is not being adhered to. It is not being followed. I tell you my personal example, sir. I went to Turkey. I asked them that I want to come and land at Sabiha Airfield because Sabiha Airfield supposedly be economical. It is giving me a lot of business opportunities. And guess what? Till date, for past 1 to 1.5 months, I've not been able to get my access to Turkey because their civil aviation said it is not possible. You have to obey and get in line with us. So this is how the regulator promotes its national airlines. You go to Dubai, you go to Abu Dhabi today, ask Serene, ask AirBlue, you cannot get the slots of your choices. The first priority goes to their own airline. मैं कोई शिकायती बच्चा नहीं बनना चाहता, but I think till the time we don't speak reality, we'll not be able to come out with the true analysis. So first and foremost, my take on is, sir, unless the regulatory, unless the aviation policies, unless the aviation division are not in line to support the national carriers, you will never be able to see the development of this aviation industry. Why aviation industry? Look where today Turkey is there. Look where today Azerbaijan is there, and where Far East countries are there. One of the major factor, contributive factor, is their airlines, their airline industry. Uh, what has happened with us by virtue of this open sky policies? What is happening today that we are granting all kind of slots to all airlines who want to come and fly in? Has anybody consulted? Ask AirBlue and Seri, is there, in my last 2 years tenure, has there any been a single time where all the airlines were together, any forum with the government of Pakistan? Never. What happens is, sir, that aviation sector can contribute effectively towards the GDP of any country. Today, you'd give a task to aviation sector and aviation policy that, okay, 0.5%, 1%, 2% is the task or the target for you. Come back to us and tell us how can we together work for it. And I tell you, sir, it is not only going to directly contribute towards the aviation policy of aviation sector or the aviation growth, it is also bring in the revenue. It will also have associated facts on the hospitality industry, your food industry, your cargo industry. Today, in Pakistan, there's hardly any cargo company which is operating successfully. There are operators who are coming from abroad and they are taking away all kind of cargo. Uh, then how are we facilitating our aviation industry people? Look how the blue dog for an individual or the crew is being taken. Look at the condition of the ATLP and the CLP tests which are being conducted for the pilots. They're the most complicated systems which are there. When were they reviewed last? Never. It will have been a decade that they were last being reviewed. Uh, what is happening in today's industry, coming back to the current and existing scenario. So, as per the IATA calculation, till 2023, we're not going to come back the state of 2019. It is 2023 onward that we'll start to have recovery. Now, once that recovery is going on, don't you think that while other people are being given, like KLM, British Airways, Emirates, Qatar, in USA alone, $500 billion package has been given. We are not asking for money. We understand what is the financial state of the government of Pakistan. What are the pressures imposed by the IMF. What we are asking for, that it is said that civil aviation is one of the richest organizations. So why can't we review the charges? Why can't we review facilitation of the operators, that okay, the landing charges for the COVID operation till the time to reach to a certain level of, let's say, 20%, 50%, we will reduce our charges. We will facilitate you from there. Nothing has happened. Nobody has ever talked about it. So what is happening? We are struggling. We are even fighting among each other. Very kind of Marshal Safdar that he was there and we were able to sit down together. Look at the values, sir. We were operating from Islamabad to Karachi at a cost of 7,500 rupees, which is not even enough if you want to travel from Lahore to Islamabad on your vehicle. So, but because we were kind of getting desperate. Now, what is happening now? We are talking about Pakistan Aviation. So, what is happening now? You're giving slots to everybody. Virgin Air was on the verge of collapse. Pakistan is this savior. We have given them slots and the best slots of Pakistan. Now, today you are doing it because one part of aviation, that is regulatory, is going to get benefit. But tomorrow, once AirBlue, Serene, and PIA are going to get through with their sectors and the permission from EASA, look the competition which we are going to face. So, sir, the challenges which we are facing, first of all, just want to concluding more that this industry is not being granted the status of an industry. Second, there is no cohesion, there is no harmony from the top. There is no the blessing which is coming from the top. There are no facilitation. The policies, they are there, but never been consulted, never been adhered. If you want to promote this aviation industry in Pakistan, you have to take the ownership. You have to, just on a lighter note, sir, 2 years and there is no teaching. Can you imagine that a huge organization is being run without rings? Nobody is there to look after that. Dang टपा होता जाएगा सर. आप कराची से बैठ के इस्लामाबाद से two hats, कब तक two hats से चलेगा? Then government has to come up and take the decisions on merit. Compare now what has happened with us on EASA. Where are we standing onto the licensing issue? Ask anybody from the operators, were they ever taken into what kind of inquiry, what kind of data has been asked, what kind of data has been shared? And from 262, where have we come down today? Is it justified? Who are the people who should have been held accountable? So, sir, unless a patronage, facilitation, ownership, and cohesive approach for the aviation sector will not be there, we will be just running left and right directionless. Thank you so very much, sir. It was just the thoughts from the heart. It's not a intellectual talk. It is just a talk from a guy from Sunskesar, whom you have elected to be the CEO of PI. Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you. Sir, thank you very much for highlighting the very pertinent issues. And let me share with you, I have been trying personally to get Secretary Aviation, who is also currently holding charge of DG CAA. But despite our very hectic efforts, formally as well as through some personal contacts, but he, didn't come up to join us this afternoon. Probably, if he was here, he would have listened to the very value inputs live, and maybe he had something to explain. Because we were expecting that after the proposed restructuring of CAA, in which the regulatory and facilitation were supposed to be operated and revamped, we have no visibility where do we stand today. Sir, thank you very much. And next, I would request CEO Serene. A brief introduction, sir. Having assumed the charge as CEO, Serene Air Marshal Safdar Khan embarked upon to further improve the services of airline, especially in safety, quality, and comfort for the guests shades. His vision is to attain unrivaled growth, enviable regularity, and on-time performance, thus making Serene Air the carrier of choice in private aviation sector of Pakistan. In near future, airline is venturing into international operations. Sir, we wish you all the best. Welcome on board and please enlighten us with your talk.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Thank you, Ijaz, for the kind words. And thank you, Arshad, for the introductory remarks. In fact, very, very comprehensive remarks. And what you have done is that you have highlighted all the problems to the panel. And you have stuck at the core things, the problems which we are facing right now. To the person from Sunske, sir, well, you are doing a great job. We always look forward to our national carrier PIA, and it is, inshallah, becoming a role model for all of us. Serene Air, gentlemen, a newborn company, just 5 aircraft, adding 2 more, making a total of 7. And we are in a humble start, but obviously, I'll just try and focus and carry forward certain points which Air Marshal Arshad has just mentioned. In addition to that, I would like to focus on to the and try and bring another discussion that is post-COVID scenario. First of all, coming on to, I couldn't agree anything more to Air Marshal Arshad that regulatory body has to play the key role in giving us the desired direction, and they have to impart the vision of the country to us so that we can move forward, and in that aviation sector plays the predominant role. Gentlemen, just I want to highlight, being a part and parcel of the regulatory body for a couple of years, uh, I just want to highlight once again that it is an autonomous body, a body which is to be run by its board of directors and not by aviation division as such. Uh, what is the state right now? The board is only meeting, I think, once in a year or once in 6 months. It is supposed to have the key personnel as the board directors, vice chief of air staff, secretary aviation as the chairman, secretary planning commission, secretary finance, and all big names, all those who have to contribute towards the national economy and the national vision. In addition to that, they are supposed to have 4 private members also, experts, and collectively they have to give the vision and move forward. Unfortunately, that forum is not visible at all, and we hardly see the role of that board of directors in providing a vision to this airline aviation sector of Pakistan. As Arshad had mentioned right in the beginning, that we claim to be a sector, aviation sector, but where is the sector? Everybody is trying to survive onto individualism, individual mode, and that is where it is becoming the survival of the individuals, and more so under the post-COVID. Air Marshal Arshad just touched the fare structures which were there with limited traveling people, and what could the airlines do? How can they survive under the present circumstances? It is right now the survival mode. I want to draw the attention of the panel to yet another angle and another point. We just witnessed post-COVID or during COVID European Union action. I just want to highlight over here that I was part and parcel of the last thing once it happened in 2007, where European Union wanted to put ban onto our Pakistan International Airline. I happened to be in civil aviation and attending that meeting. I want to share that. They announced in the morning, and by evening, we were out of it. So, how did that happen? Primarily, Civil Aviation Authority, the delegation which I was leading from civil aviation side, we raised the point that European Union has not taken their sister concern, that the Civil Aviation Authority, on board, and it is basically the responsibility of the regulatory body. So you please ask us. We will do the remedial measures and provide forward, but this such sort of an action is not warranted. Uh, we managed to convince them, and by evening everything was sorted out, and we moved forward. At this stage, also, I think we should have taken that role of the regulatory body, and we could have been in the support role to the PIA. Primarily, as you all know, it was on the SMS, which is there, which is an ongoing thing. Regulatory body is now trying to focus onto that. But the airlines, in their own survival mode, in their own interest, have already been working onto the SMS. Only thing is that we need to project it in the right way and the right fashion. Okay, European Union action, we all saw. Post COVID, another angle, a regional traffic. I'm afraid number of people are countrymen who are working, expats in UAE and Saudi Arabia have come back on one-way ticket to Pakistan. Has anybody studied that? What is going to be role and function of our operators in futuristic into these Middle Eastern countries and the Saudi Arabia market? Uh, on top of that, if we are giving frequencies to everybody, whosoever comes at their will and whims, uh, I just want to share with that till 11 o'clock, Emirates doesn't allow anybody else to land in their country in the morning. They only permit slots after 11 hours because those are the prime slots which they do not give it to anybody else. In our case, we offer them all the goodies. Europe, again, PIA was operating to European destinations, UK, and all those. And look what has happened. That after this European Union action, ISA action, two airlines have been given all the access into our market. So, what are we doing? Who is studying all these things? How to tackle all these things? Because these are the mega level problems post COVID, where I personally feel it will be the survival of the fittest from now onwards. And small carriers would get, I think, weeded out. And that would be because obviously, if we see the Middle Eastern countries and all that, they have invested billions of dollars in their aviation sector. Would they like a 200 million people market go away just like that? I think there's a question which we need to ask ourselves. Okay, this is all what is happening. Why it is happening, I don't have a question right answer to this. Why part of all our failures? But one basically the thing which comes to my mind is that those concerted efforts by government of Pakistan level, by aviation division, by our regulatory, and taking on board all the airlines and all the operators, the major main airlines, all the operators. Uh, we just saw 90,000 pilots, the figure, pilots who have been laid off. What would happen to the future of flying clubs in Pakistan? What all is going to happen? Where are we heading? What all challenges in next 6 months are there? How many challenges are there for last 2.5 years or 3 years from now onwards? as Air Marshal Arshad very rightly said, that it will take us 2 to 3 years before we can get out of this post-COVID area. So I personally feel it is time to look into all these problems and look forward from there onward as to what we need to do. And for that, such like forums where we can talk it out, we can have a collective vision, and we can put forward to the government of Pakistan that look, here we are, this is what we feel, because in the absence of anybody else, aviation sector or doing the job, I think we need to, in our own interest, get together and move forward these suggestions to the government of Pakistan. Thank you very much for a patient hearing. I hope I was able to convey my message to the panel. Thank you very much.
Sir, thank you very much. We really stand educated because of your experience in the Civil Aviation Authority, and then subsequently as a in the airline industry. I think there couldn't be a better guidance available to us. And inshallah, once we compile our recommendations, we would like to consult you for review, and then we will put it forward for various concerned quarters. Thank you very much, sir. And now we move on to our next panelist, Mr. Muhammad Ali Dada. He's a senior airline executive with 15 years of experience working in the commercial aviation industry. During this time, he has worked with various airlines along with multiple MROs, loyalty programs, and airport services companies across Europe, Africa, Asia, and Australia. He is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan, a certified internal auditor, and a certified Lean Six Sigma practitioner. He is also certified by IATA for airline network planning and scheduling and airline business management. Mr. Dada specializes in airline business transformation, risk management, and process improvement. Please, Mr. Dada, welcome on board, and let's hear your talk.
Thank you so much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and Assalamu alaikum to all. It is indeed an honor to be here. This is a very esteemed panel, and it's a pleasure to be here and an honor to speak to you all. What I want to do is sort of because I'm going to try to give more of a global perspective on the challenges that the aviation industry faces right now post-COVID, and then try and see how a way forward can be built up to try and address these issues that we face. What I want to highlight first of all is this scenario we face is an absolute perfect storm. All the previous crises, जितने भी पहले जो आए थे, 9/11 and SARS crisis and 2008 and 9 economic burst, combine them all together, multiply by 10. Honestly, this is the biggest crisis the industry has ever faced. No amount of risk management or risk assessment could have picked it up. There were some scenarios on pandemics, but nothing like this. So nobody could have prepared for this. Now we need to work around how to survive this as an industry, not just the airline, but the broader aviation industry. The number one lesson, I want to talk about three key challenges and three key lessons that the airline must learn, industry must learn. The number one lesson I hope the industry learns is the overcapacity issue, and that's a global issue. No industry in the world grows or has grown in the last 50 years like airlines have grown without having the right return on investment. IATA says in the last 50 years, in a good year, an airline will average 4%, in a bad year, negative 4%. And yet we have been growing massively. And this is an overcapacity situation that has been building up for ages. Even when things were normal, there was too much capacity in the market. Boeing or Airbus, they give you these massive forecasts, and airlines then place huge orders. And the plane 5 saal baad aata hai, you don't know where to fly them. So it seems like the airline industry has almost been, growing and then creating demand, not growing in line with demand. And what happens when you have so many planes? You have to fly them somewhere. The sixth freedom flying by RTA, which is unprofitable, revenue dilution, and the market tends to sort of dilute itself and everybody suffers. So too many planes flying. And even as we recover, I hope the growth that the airlines then build up is a bit more aligned to the demand and not just buy aircraft for the sake of it and then build demand by lowering revenue. To a certain extent, in terms of, as Pakistan is a bit fortunate due to multiple factors, Pakistan is about, at the moment, about 47 commercial aircraft with 3 airlines. So with 220 million people, you don't have that overcapacity issue. But however, there are other implications which prohibit growth of airlines. And as Arshad Saab and Sadar Saab mentioned, the cost of flying, your airport cost Pakistan is the most, I think the second most expensive in the world. When I book ticket from Karachi to Heathrow, it's like ticket ka fare kam or airport costs zyada. It's just you're paying the fares, the charges as a fare. So very high cost of flying, and that maybe prohibits growth. But opportunity is there. Pakistan still has opportunity to grow the fleets. Dunia bhar mein masla hai to reduce the fleet. There's too many planes. Pakistan still has opportunity to grow, but again, if allowed to by the regulations and by the cost of operations, and of course, the competition that can come in and take the opportunity away. The second thing I want to flag up is regulation and restrictions. In this COVID world or post-COVID world, I don't think people are scared of the disease, and that's not the one that's stopping them applying. People are scared of regulations. People are scared of being quarantined or flying across and being stranded, or the rules suddenly changing. And it's an inconsistent forum all across the world. Everybody's making their own rules. There is a demand for tourism right now, but people are scared to fly because you don't know what's going to happen. Last month, I flew and I came back 14-day quarantine. घर में बंद कर दिया 14 days के लिए. Why would I fly again? ये regulatory restriction is really damaging the industry at the moment. Or its alignment, at least globally, is absolutely critical because at the moment, it's everybody's making their own rules and it's very confusing for a typical passenger out there. And the third thing, which is probably going to be a more long-term challenge for the airline, is the business travel. And because, as we can see, I think last year we may have flown across and sat in a room and had this conference. Now we're all virtual. This is now a world of Zoom. And businesses have now moved to this forum. Virtual conferencing is there. It's a norm now. So this high-end premium demand, which was always there, may drop off permanently. Well, its impact will be quite significant because leisure travel, VFR travel, or labor travel is not as high yielding as this business travel was. And that might be an impact which might change the business model of airlines. And the premium classes and high yielding fares, last minute bookings, they might drop off. Uska ek impact jo hai, the airline has to anticipate that. If I had to highlight an opportunity, as I said, the world is ready to travel, and the reason why they're not traveling is because they are concerned about regulation. एक pent up demand है for tourism right now, where people are simply frustrated. They want to fly. Our examples देख लें, Turkey has opened up, Greece and Maldives, and people are flying there if their home country allows them to do so. I believe this is an opportunity. It's like a, एक saying है, never let a good crisis go to waste. From a Pakistan tourism and travel perspective, it's an opportunity to stand out. कि ठीक है, we will open up, we will allow you to travel. We will become this tourism hotspot that Pakistan aspires to be. लेकिन उसके लिए the regulators and everyone has to align themselves, build the adequate and effective protocols जिससे लोग safely fly कर सकें and they can come in. This is an opportunity right now. It won't last forever. At the moment, ये है, maybe for 6 more months, जब वो vaccine आएगा, it might just go away. But at the moment, you can reshuffle the order and stand out and build that demand up immediately. The other thing I want to mention is something close to my heart: business transformation and cost management. This should be a cultural element in all airlines, not just all airlines, but all businesses. Everything, every process जो एक business में होता है, that should be reviewed critically to see उसमें how much waste exists. And waste for me is any activity that does not add value. And every process in the world has potential waste, and that needs to be reviewed critically to see what can be removed, what can be taken out, and what can be modified. This should be a cultural aspect and a continuous cultural aspect in all airlines. Everything, you should be looking at everything with a fine tooth comb. कि कहाँ पर जो है we can take out excess cost. This is something I've done quite a lot, and I've seen जहाँ भी आप you go and look at it, you find something. You need an independent team because the people who do the processes tend to get used to it. You need someone to look at this. This opportunity stands, and I would strongly suggest all of you guys have a look at your processes. There will be waste which you can remove and benefit immediately. And one final point, just to touch upon, review your network because the world is going to change. Premium business travel routes might go away. Where is your strength? Where can you be a dominant point-to-point carrier? In the interim, ऐसी destinations जहाँ पर opportunity है fly करने की, regulation or restrictions come है, and in the long term, where can you dominate? Where can you be the number one or number two carrier of choice for that particular destination and then consolidate there? Network को spread करके फैला के you tend to fragment your own network, and then the demand sort of floats away, and then large airlines will step in and just introduce daily frequencies. Consolidate your network into where you are strong, and then code share the rest, and then build slowly from there. So from my point, this is the way forward, and it's just about reinforcing what we all know. And that's how I see things going. 2 to 3 years, hopefully. But when we come out of this, we will be a change industry. Let's not kid ourselves. The world will change. Things will change, and we will not become as we were before. And those who change and adapt will be the strongest coming out. That's my take on situation at the moment.
Thank you very much, Dada Saab. Very valid observations and suggestions. Interestingly, I was just going through statistics during the COVID crisis, and we can't say the post-COVID, we are still in it.
Yeah.
There were only 44 genuine cases reported world over, which could be directly attributed to COVID and the transmission through, airline travel. And this we are talking about over a, database of over millions of
Yeah,
passengers.
exactly.
But that awareness is not being given to the target market, because there are certain built-in filtrations and other facilities which are very effective against the seating arrangement and different other recently inducted
Yeah.
safety measures. They make the air travel very safe even during this COVID environment. But that media, both electronic and print media, we need to highlight this thing that unnecessarily created an environment and perception about safety of air travel. So I think that should also be one of our recommendations. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Moving over to our next speaker, Professor Dr. Farhan Isa, an MBBS gold medalist, holds MPhil and PhD. As CEO of one of the largest medical diagnostics chains in Sindh, expanding towards other provinces, Dr. Isa Lab and Diagnostic Centers, a quality management certified organization. He received Top 100 CEOs of Pakistan award multiple times, including many others in management, health, sports, environment, fire and safety, education support, corporate social responsibility. He has been engaged in various professional bodies to improve health services in Pakistan. Well, list goes on to highlight his achievements in all sectors related to health services and social work. Currently, Dr. Saab is visiting professor at Liaquat College of Medicine and Dentistry. Dr. Saab, really a pleasure and privilege to have you on board. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. This is the situation, the post-COVID, the situation is, getting better in Pakistan, and it's being handled very properly by all the aviation industries. I feel, you know, especially, the points raised by Arshad Malik Saab and Safdar Saab are very critical in pointing out the way forward. As far as medical point of view and testing is concerned, because Dr. Isa Lab is doing COVID testing for all major airlines, local and international. So, we are pretty much aware of the collaboration, and we are also collaborating with other regulatory bodies of other countries where the airlines are landing to. So I think the one thing which has really come out is the quality of lab tests being performed in Pakistan, as we don't have any in our lab and other labs which are involved in it. So this is also ensuring the passengers of the safety concerns of airlines. I think those airlines which are getting the test done and retesting on arrival is sort of giving them a confidence that they've been taken care of. As far as I know, that lots of I have a different perspective, because lots of passengers come to us and give their point of views. Uh, Definitely, they don't like the procedure, but that is ensuring their confidence in the air travel themselves. And as far as airlines are concerned, and we do the test for Emirates and Qatar, we see all the airlines are completely booked, and and there is no one not traveling because of the COVID fears. So I think this is pretty reassuring. It's very interesting also. Now the concerns which and I think we also are supporting that air travel by explaining to them the procedures, the SOPs before they embark on their journey. So what I feel is there should be a greater communication, coordination, and collaboration between the health sector and the regulators and the aviation operators. I think now the post COVID world is and the rather still a COVID world. These three collaborations are very important. So I think I congratulate Badar Expo for arranging the program, because you introduced the health side. Because mostly people talk about regulators and they talk about the operators. Secondly, I would just point it out, as this is a very serious discussion going on, that a topic which is not nice to talk about is bioterrorism. So we need to be very aware of. Now look at how this COVID was spread all around the world. And it's brought down economies. It's not about the air travel itself, but it's all about all the sectors are feeling the pressure from it. So we need to be very aware. The point I just at my last I want to highlight is there is a serious threat of bioterrorism anywhere in the world. I hope it doesn't happen. But what happens actually whenever there is as an area where there is this sort of a situation, then many people want to fly out from that area. and the aviation, the cabin crew, and even at the airport, they need to be aware of how to handle such a situation where if there's no flight restrictions and people might be traveling. So I just wanted to, because all major stakeholders are here, and Air Vice Marshal Ijaz Malik Saab, you are conducting the program. It's a very thought-provoking program, and as I've worked 20 years in the health department also, so I just want to bring this to knowledge that communicable disease is a big reality which has been ignored by people and which can bring down economies, not only air travel. So I think we should have more of health awareness sessions, how to handle biosafety protocols, and how to, if we even if we have if a passenger is flying who is then diagnosed as having a communicable diseases, how the air cabin crew has to take care of him or her. So thank you very much, and I'm always available to contribute as far as the medical and infectious disease situation and handling is concerned. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Gentlemen, to conclude, uh, I would say that we had a very interesting and mutually rewarding session. I am really thankful to all panelists for sparing their time and, and giving us very pertinent and focused observations and a way forward recommendations. I think this webinar and in future, whenever the situation permit, some other seminars and forums, we can, try and continue doing our bit to raise this various issues at appropriate level, and we hope to have, some change which can bring into these various focused area progress and development, which can revive and give a growth to our aviation industry. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Badar Expo Solutions for pursuing their series of webinars on very pertinent issues, and the entire team on operation and production side who have made it possible. Thank you very much, sir. All of you, stay blessed.